like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This is the Debonaire Ideal segment. Don't forget you can visit stogiegeeks.com/debonaire for an updated list of retailers that carry Debonaire cigars, which just never seem to last in my humidor. I tend to just smoke them, which says how good they are, actually, which is awesome.
Yeah, and we got to point out there's a new shop that's got Phil's stuff in. It's the Underground Cigar Shop in Fort Worth, Texas, which I visited, and it's a real I've been to in the country, and I saw a few folks smoking Phil's stuff there this week, and they seem to be really be loving it. So
awesome.
If you're in Fort Worth, check those guys out.
So what's our Debonaire Ideal segment for this evening?
Talking about Guayabera shirts, which is kind of a...
I'm so glad. You know why I'm so glad that we're talking about this? Because it means as the weather turns here in New England and it gets warmer, I can actually wear Guayabera short sleeve shirts again. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, and you know, it was actually a similar thing. I was, it was a warmer day. I was working from home, and I kind of saw my Guayabera shirt, and I said, why are these things so debonair when it comes to cigars? Because they really are the ultimate cigar shirt there.
They are.
That I find. I mean, I find, obviously they got pockets. So you can stick your cigars in your pocket, and they're durable, which is what I really like. So, if you're gonna ash on yourself, it's not gonna burn easy, and then if the ash gets on the shirt, you can probably get it off real easy. So I kind of think it's a very good thing to have as a cigar enthusiast.
Well, now let's not forget, Will, these shirts are stylish. So I'm going to tell you kind of a little story. When I started the Stogie Geek Show, actually before you joined, Will, and I don't think we have never done a second round of these, and we need to. I bought some Guayabera shirts. I actually bought them from Amazon just because they had the sizes and quantities that I needed, and I took them to a local shop here, and I had them embroidered with the Stogie Geeks logo. And if you've seen in the summertime, I'll wear the shirt on the show. And I started wearing it to local cigar shops, and then I started wearing it to like computer security conferences that I go to across the country. And I get more compliments on the shirt. Everyone's like, "That shirt is so cool," like because it's so different. Because I'm taking something in the cigar industry where if you were in Dominican or Nicaragua or Honduras and you wore that shirt, everyone think, "Well, you're wearing a Guayabera, big deal, right?" But take that shirt and wear it to a computer security conference where I get together with my friends. Everyone's like, "Where did you get that? That is a really cool shirt." And I just think that they're very stylish and very debonair. Like you said, you can stick a couple of cigars in your pocket, and they're just awesome. They're very comfortable shirts to wear. I love them. There's a couple different brands. I don't pretend to know all the different brands. I know that some of the ones I'm going to purchase for this summer are going to be CRA makes a branded Guayabera. So I'm going to be ordering some of those to show my support for CRA. I just renewed my membership, and I upgraded to a lifetime membership recently on CRA. And I'm going to support them even more, and I'm going to buy some Guayaberas for this summer as well. I'm going to place another order because I need to wear those. I like wearing them, like I said, some of the conferences and stuff, especially like at night when I'm need to carry a couple of cigars to give to my friends and stuff, and it kind of shows that I'm willing to share cigars because I'm wearing the shirt and I have cigars. So. I love the Guayaberas. They're very debonair.
They're debonair. They're stylish. And they're the kind of shirts you could wear. You're not gonna get hot wearing them, so to speak. Where they tend to, they're made, they're a tropical type of shirt, I guess, or so to speak. So
they're great in Vegas. They're a great Vegas shirt.
They really are.
The way they're cut, too, they breathe. They're cut kind of wide.
They breathe. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you should definitely. Did you have recommendations?
Lady.
Yeah, Guayabera. Yeah. Do you have recommendations on brands? I know there's a couple of different brands out there. I just ordered from Amazon, but I don't know what brand I got.
Yeah, I mean, Guayabera Larry, she makes some really good ones. They're not overly expensive, and she does a lot for people in the cigar industry. But I found that local department stores do have them, and they're at a good price, and there's some good quality there. You don't have to spend $60-$70 on a
Hmm.
Guayabera by any means.
Right.
You could pick some up there, and like I said, some of them are stylish, and don't forget some of them I wear just on a Sunday afternoon to smoke on the deck,
Hmm.
where all right, it's nice, but as long as it does the job, it keeps me cool and it's durable, and I can stick a cigar in my pocket. I'm as happy as a clam with it.
It kind of gets you in that cigar smoking mode too.
It
If I'm in
it
cigar
does.
smoking mode, I got my Guayabera on. I may even put my hat on. One of those hat. Paul sold me one of those from Mr. J. Savannah. Some of those awesome hats. Throw that hat on, man. Like you feel like you're in the Dominican
Oh,
Republic, sitting on the porch overlooking the tobacco fields, having a cigar.
and if there's nothing cooler walking. If you're in Cali Ocho in Little Havana, or if you're in Ybor City with that Guayabera shirt. I mean,
Mm,
it's just you just feel like you're embraced in the cigar culture, and you
absolutely.
are that stogie geek. So it is a good thing.
Excellent. Before we get to our Stogies of the Week, I want to mention that this segment is brought to you by M. Bombay Cigars. M. Bombay Cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. From selecting the best of the best quality of different tobaccos used for the cigar aging process of the cigars are taken into consideration. M. Bombay Cigars are rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band for their cigars portray the most detailed and artistic nature of the small cigar industry that we're in. Try the newly released M. Bombay Casera and M. Bombay Mora. M. Bombay Cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. Let's go to you, Will, for our Stogies of the week. I have a short list this week as I was traveling, so I want to kind of turn it over to you first and get your take on some cigars.
All right. Off with the Viaje Super Shot 2015 edition.
Mm,
So I think if you're looking at Andre's portfolio, and Andre's going to be on the show, he's scheduled April 16th. The Super Shots really, I think, become one of his best sellers, and I'd be curious to see if it is his top seller. It seems to be a very, very popular cigar. They're the small cigars that are designed to be the size of a shotgun shell, and he's got a 10 gauge and a 12 gauge. Um, he's the original blended at was a Nicaraguan Criollo wrapper.
mm, I remember
That was
those.
when it first came out, and then he came out with
Awesome.
yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Came out with a Corojo wrapper version a couple years ago. Last year the Criollo did not come out. This year the Criollo is back. And I gotta say, I think it's back and better than ever.
Nice.
I smoked the 12 gauge, which is a 3 1/4 by 52. And I just think the blends were spot on. It's got a mix of mocha notes. It's got cream. It's got some of that spice you'd come to expect from an Andre Farkas cigar. Um, it wasn't a nicotine bomb by any means. It's a medium to full, I'd say, cigar. But and I think I remember them being a little stronger when they came out. So this one seems slightly dialed back, but completely satisfying too. It's not a cigar that's gonna be, I'd say, an overly complex cigar. I think if there's one thing about the super shots, they're too small to really have time to develop some of those flavor changes. But I think that this year's super shot was one of the smoothest ones I've had. It wasn't harsh, it wasn't rough on the palate. The spice wasn't too much on there. The nicotine wasn't too much on there. So overall, I was very, very pleased with this year's version, and I gave it a box worthy.
Mm. And the
And they
box
come
is
in a
really cool. I've got a box of some of their older released ones. It
I'm
comes in
looking
a
at one
shotgun
right.
shell box. Yeah.
Yep, I'm looking at one. I have one from the original that grow. It's literally, and if you actually Google some shotgun shell boxes, this is a shotgun shell box. Literally,
Absolutely.
is what he's got. It's got a retro 1950s look to it, and then, like I said, they are, if you can find the retailers that have um they're 25 to a box. They're like $8 a stick, so they're not going to break the bank to get a box of those.
Mm. It was interesting. Well, since I didn't review a whole lot of cigars. Actually, Frank was asking me before the show, like what I like to smoke regularly when I'm not reviewing cigars for the show, and I definitely have some very distinct favorites lately that I wanted to highlight that have been standing out amongst my regular smoking rotation. And some of these are newer cigars as well. And as a lot of people know, I smoke a lot of Connecticut shade wrap cigars, especially in the morning. And my go-to smoke in the morning is hands down the EP Carrillo New Wave limited edition, the Edition Limitada that came out this year. And it's in the Toro size. I bought a box of those, and I'm loving that cigar. It is
You mean the New Wave Reserva, right?
New Wave
The
Reserva, thank you. Yeah, New Wave
Okay.
Reserva. Oh, is that have you smoked that size?
I haven't reviewed it yet, but I've smoked it. But I haven't. I've smoked the Robusto.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah.
I smoked both, and I several of each of those Toro and Robusto size. It comes in a Gordo size as well. I just love that Toro first thing in the morning with coffee. It just hits the spot. It's a little amped up on strength and body for a morning cigar. A little bit. It's still mild enough to have with morning coffee. And I just love the flavor profile. It's very creamy, caramel. It's fight Chuck Norris form is what it's, the rating it's getting in my book, and it's one of my go-tos that I smoke in the morning when if I'm not reviewing. That's what I'm reaching for first thing in the morning. Later in the day, I've been reaching more for the Padron 1926 series in the natural wrapper, and you're hard pressed in my book. At least I'm hard pressed to find a size that doesn't smoke fight Chuck Norris form level every time. I mean, from the little number 35 to the number 6 Robusto to the number 9, kind of a larger Robusto, and the number 6 is the Torpedo or Bellicoso version of that. In the natural wrapper, loving that one. And that blend's been out forever. And I tell you, I smoked through a lot of Padrones in my day, and when I reach for a Padron now, it is in that 26 line. It is hands down in the natural wrapper, in really any of those sizes. Just spectacular. On the pricey side, but it delivers every time. And like I said, they're always fight Chuck Norris for them. Whether they're fresh out of the box, whether they're aged, it's just an unbelievable smoking experience for me. And that's definitely what I'm reaching for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, no. We were talking about the New Wave for a second. I want to just go back to that. Were you a fan of the short run 2012s and that foil one from Federal?
Yes, it's like a similar blend, right? And those are some of my favorite Connecticut's. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
it's
that.
Got
I don't
that
know if the same.
That same kind of caramel sweetness to it in that New Wave short run, which I smoked through a whole box of that in the Toro size, and the blend is very, very, very similar. This one might be amped up a little bit. There might have been some, probably I would say minor tweaks to maybe the filler.
Yeah.
But they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. And he's got a new one. He's got a new short run coming out.
It just hit the stores.
It just hit the stores, right?
I mean, literally, I got the email today that's in my local shop.
And it's a Habano wrapper?
It's Criollo.
He's
going Nicaragua, yeah, which is going to be interesting because I don't think
he brought that back, right? He did Criollo in one of his earlier short run releases, and he's kind of bringing it back.
He might have. I'm not sure, but I believe not. I believe he did Corojo in one of them.
Okay.
I may be wrong on that, so I don't want to say I'm right on.
Yeah, I was reading about that on my plane ride, and that was what I'm very much looking forward to. So yeah, ATL saying that just hit the stores. So I'm anxious for that to come in.
Yeah, I tell you, like I said, what I like about the Reserva is it supplements the regular. He's got 2 Connecticut's, and they're different. They're really different. So
yeah, the regular Connecticut is different from this from the Reserva, big time.
Yep, and I think if someone's a fan of the regular, they may. I think they'll stick with it. But if they're looking maybe for a next step up, or if they say maybe the regular Connecticut's too dialed back, the Reserva is a great option.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely amped up from the regular. Yeah, it's got a little more strength and body than the regular New Wave for sure.
Yep.
Can't wait for those. Okay, well, back to you.
All right. I smoked the Matilde Renaissance this week. We had Jose Sejas on the show last year, and he's just an incredible guy. And I've smoked with some of the Matildes, and I hit the Robusto. I recently kind of stumbled onto the Robusto, which I had not smoked before. It's a 5 1/4 by 50. And this is the part of the Matilde line. He's got four, actually now five sizes. He just introduced the Lancero, which I had also got my hands on. But I've really kind of been going back. This Robusto is a real surprise to me in terms of it's the belle of the ball in this line. In terms of this cigar, I just love the flavors with this cigar. It's got coffee notes. It's got this. If you've had some of the Matildes very early on, they had some rough. They were rough around the edges, and they needed some time. And this one just seems like whatever the ones I've had now, they seem like they've settled down. They got a nice tangy sweetness to it. They got some coffee and earth notes. It has a very Nicaraguan profile for a cigar out of the Dominican there. The only knock I've had on these cigars is the burns aren't bad. They're not Paul syndrome bad. They're a little jagged, and the ashes tend to be a little flaky with these. Is the issues I've had, but the combustion's fine with the cigars. I'll say this: this is as good a this, I'm the worst. I get all wrapped around these limited editions, but I kind of looked at this cigar, and this I don't have an everyday cigar, but I have a rotation cigar. I
Mm.
could put the cigar in my rotation and be very, very happy smoking this every few days. This is a box-worthy cigar. I think it's the best one he's put out in this line. Like I didn't expect it from the Robusto. I kind of thought the Corona was really the way to go, but the Robusto is the way. I'm sold on the Robusto right now.
Nice, nice. I haven't had one of those in a while. I got to
I,
go
I
back
would
to
get,
those.
I would go and I'd go back from even when we had them on the show.
Yeah.
These cigars have really seemed to settle down, and I think they needed some time when they first came out. I think they were a little young when they came out, or
Now,
rough around the edges is the best way to put it.
now I smoked a lot of 724 today because, like I said, they were on special.
Yeah,
So I picked up a bunch. I do have to say, I'm liking this. I'm smoking the Factory 57 in kind of that Corona Gorda size. I don't know if we can cut to do we have a camera angle over here? This is the Corona Gorda size that I'm smoking now. I like this one better than the Robusto will. I don't know which size were you smoking?
with a little less ring, it may be better.
Mm. Yeah, it's got like a little more punch to it. You got, I think, a lot more of the wrapper flavor, obviously, but that little, it's got a little more of an explosion of flavor in this Corona Gorda size. So that would be my recommendation. The Factory 57, very good. I like the Hustler. I smoked the Robusto. In that Robusto size, I still feel like it's a fiver. Like I think the flavors are good, and it probably is consistent with the other ratings I've given the Hustler. And it's a fiver. It's a good medium-bodied, nice strength kind of cigar. I'm really, really anxious to try it in that smaller dog walker size with that barber pole style wrapper. I think that's going to be a really great experience. And again, it was Cigar Aficionado that kind of pointed me out to that size, and hopefully we'll be getting some in next door for us to sample. So I'm excited about that. I love that Lancero. That Lancero is still my favorite, even above the Factory 57 Corona Gorda, which is really good. It's going down really good right now. But that Lancero is awesome, dude. It's awesome.
I've had the original blend in the Lancero, and he was mentioning the 1874, which is I
Yep.
actually like the 1874 better than the original.
I smoked the original Lancero as well, and the 1874, hands down, a lot better in my book.
I think the 1874 line is the most underrated release he's done. It's a
Yeah.
really, really good cigar.
Spectacular. I mean, that Lancero's box split, maybe box worthy in my book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember when I had the Hustlers though. When they first came out,
Mm.
they knocked me on my ass. They were strong.
Really?
Maybe they were,
They've
and
amped down. Yeah, these were
and they
not
amped
amped
down,
up at
and
all.
they've
Yeah.
amped down quite a bit. Yeah, and even when I reviewed it, I wrote it was strong, and I go back and say I really thought it was that strong. But I remember when they hit the stores, I wanted to smoke that cigar so bad.
Mm.
I basically that was one of those cigars I basically went on the witch hunt for. But what happens with Kurt, and he explained it in his interview, he tends to do a small release early on and see how it goes
How it
before he
goes.
mass does it. So I ended up having to really hunt them down. But I remember it knocked me on my butt, but it's really come back. It was one of that's another one of my favorite lines is the Hustler as well.
Mm. Back to you, Will.
Um, I smoked a couple of casadas. I smoked the size of the Casada España that is available from Casa de Monte Cristo. And they only sent me one of these sizes. Otherwise, I would have sent it to you. It's called the Belly. So as the name indicates, it's
What was it? Sorry, Will, you were breaking up there.
the Belly Lance.
The Belly Lance.
Yeah, so Belly for Bellicoso and Lance for Lancero.
So like what's the size from Opus? A Petite Lancero, they call it, which is a Bellicoso kind of Lancero kind of.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. This is a 7x40 of that blend, and they did it for Casa de Monte Cristo, which is actually, as we speak, has Manuel Casada there launching the event tonight for this
Nice.
cigar. So he's there. And you know what's cool about this cigar? It brings together the best of those two worlds. Literally, if you want, I've had the in the Lancero blend, which was a very hard size to find.
Was, yes.
The Bellicoso smokes very similar to it. I think it's not going to be much different than the the Lancero. I had it as a box split, which I think is good in 10 count boxes. What I'll say about this cigar too is if you're a fan of the España, you're gonna like it. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it's my favorite size of the line. I think the Petite Bellicoso, which came out, is better. But like I said, if you're a fan of the Lancero, I think you owe it to try this blend because the Lanceros are very hard to get right now. And this, at least Casa de Monte Cristo, you can go to topqualitycigars.com and buy them right there. So,
And so you can buy Quesada España Lanceros?
you're gonna be able, from what I heard, you're gonna be able to buy those soon from a store in Houston.
Because I've never had a Lancero in the España blend.
They were very, very limited.
Yeah, I've never
But you
smoked
can buy
that.
these Bellicoso, these belly lances, right
Okay.
on at topqualitycigars.com, and they'll smoke very similar to that. Is what I'll
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll just get a little more to tapering, but you'll get that Lancero type of smoke from it very easily.
Nice. So you like this one?
It was a box split. It wasn't my favorite. I'm really behind, but it's as far as there's other sizes I'd probably go to before this one. But if you like that Lancero smoke, and I know people who really like the España Lanceros who have been able to get their hands on them, this is a very viable alternative, and I think you'll be satisfied with it.
Cool. Very cool. I can't wait I love the España blend, so I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Yep. Yeah.
What's your favorite size? Are you the Corona or short Robusto?
It's hands down the Corona.
Mm.
It's hands down the Corona is my favorite size of that. I remember Stogie Santa. So my initial experience with this blend is I had the big Robusto, and I was like, this is overrated.
Yeah,
right?
The big Robusto was kind of eh.
Yeah, and I'd say it's the one size of line. And then, when I started meeting Stogie Santa, he kept telling me about the Corona, and he sent me a Corona, and I'm like, I just got wowed by it.
Yeah, no, Corona's definitely I find them to be a little inconsistent. The Corona sometimes won't smoke as good for me because I have Paul syndrome. So sometimes I'll turn to the short Robusto, and it's kind of a toss-up for me as to which one I like better. And I think it's just a matter of depending on how well it smokes for me. I think they're both equally as good. I tend to lean a little towards the short Robusto because I like that size, but to each their own.
This España line tends to be very the sizes could really change the blend is what I've found.
Big time.
It's one, and I don't know how much they're tweaking it, and obviously there's always some tweaking that goes on in there, but you'll get some different flavor nuances from size to size with this blend.
Interesting. I went back to another Connecticut that actually pleasantly surprised me, and that's the Nestor Miranda collection. This is his newly rebranded. We had Nestor on the show and talked about it. I smoked his Connecticut in the Robusto size. Well, this thing was off the charts flavor-wise. I mean, these things are just getting so much better. It's a Connecticut with some oomph to it, and given some resting time, like it really settles down, and you get nothing but that flavor. A lot of that spice is dissipated, and I wouldn't say it's a caramel kind of flavor, but it's some kind of sweetness flavor that is really, really awesome. And I'm calling this one a box split with a friend because it really did wow me. It demanded my attention and really presented some awesome flavors throughout.
Paul, I'm totally in agreement with you on this cigar and the rating. In fact, I just pulled up what I put in the Stogie feed on this because I did review it, and I gave it a box split as well.
Nice.
And I'm kind of saying the same thing. There's some sweetness with this cigar, um, that it's an underrated cigar in the line. As far as like that Connecticut is solid, and I've been a little harder on Pepin's Connecticut's. I haven't been a biggest fan of a lot of Pepin's Connecticut's. Not that they're bad cigars, they just haven't wowed me. But this one's as good as I've had, and it's a very good cigar. And kind of agree with you. It's priced really good too, so it is something you can easily go and split a box with.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's some aging potential here. I think these have to rest a little, and it knocks off some of that spice and a little bit of pepper that you got from them when we were first reviewing them, and that's significantly amped down, and you can just taste more of that sweetness flavor that we both picked up when we first smoked it. It comes to the forefront now.
Yeah, and I remember when we had Jason Wood on a few weeks ago, he mentioned that they're going to be coming out with some special sizes. I think like the Lancero's coming out with that,
Nice.
the Dano. So it sounds like they're going to be some special sizes coming at some point with these. I'm looking forward, especially with that Connecticut, because I think that Connecticut's the best of the three blends right now. I think that's smoking the best right now.
Awesome. Well, you want to take a break and
Yes.
split the segment, come back, and
Yep.
continue with our Stogies of the Week. So
Yep.
with that, we're going to take a very short break, come back, and finish up the show with our Stogies of the Week and our contest information. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.